Hi everyone, it's Claire back again. I'm going to do my dupes comparisons video today. It's probably the first of many. But before I start, I just want to say a big happy birthday to Jen, who's Polish Pony on Instagram and on YouTube. I'll link the details below for Polish Pony's channel and where you can follow her on Instagram. And also, Jen has just started making nail vinyls, and I want you to check them out. You know, the incredible designs. Originally, excuse me, for the first few weeks it was just available in the US, sorry, but now worldwide. So I'll link all those details down below, and you can pick up some of these quirky, funky vinyls by Jen. But check out the website where you can see some of the swatches as well of the swatches that have used the vinyls, so you can see what the designs look like. But big happy birthday, Jen, Polish Pony. She's a very good friend of mine. I kind of commented on her videos and bullied her into being my friend, really. No, we talk regularly, and we've discovered a few weeks ago, I think it was a couple of months ago, that we actually both have the same birthday. So it's actually my birthday today as well. It's not today. I'm not filming on our birthdays. This is going out on Saturday, which is the 3rd of September. And that's our shared birthday, but I'm actually filming this at the end of August. Anyway, huge long introduction. Check out Polish Pony's details and Lanica vinyls, and I'm going to get on with this video. Excuse me. So the first, I'm going to be talking about greens. The first comparison and dupe that I want, or possible dupe that I want to look at, is, if you can remember, this is one of my favourite OPIs, and this is Stranger Tides. And it's this lovely grey, neutrally grey with a drop of green in there. You can see the grey has started to separate a little bit in this one. And I think this looks very, very similar to Butter London Bossy boots. So that's the colour there, very pale grey. It looks more green actually, or it looks brighter in the camera. It's considerably more greyed out and muted. I think in the camera this one perhaps looks a little bit more grey, and there's a dash more green in this one, but to the eye they look exactly they look exactly the same. So let's see what they look like on the swatch wheel. I might have to stop and pause and just grab a drink in a minute because my voice is very croaky today. So that's the OPI. Nice cream formula. It's going to need 2 coats to be opaque. And here's the Butter London. So Stranger Tides OPI and Bossy Boots London. And I always enjoy watching dupes videos and comparison videos, especially when there's a brand that's considerably cheaper. Now, this is where you see the difference in the bottle to actually on the nail. So you can see there is quite a difference. They're definitely not dupes. Just have to stop and get a drink there. I've got a really sore throat today. So this one is paler, the Butter London is paler and more green, and the OPI Stranger Tides is definitely more grey. So yeah, and they don't really look anything like each other on the nail. On my nails is still Mallory by Zoya from the urban grunge fall autumn collection for this year, with a little bit of stamping practice and some nail confetti. There. Okay, so that's our first comparison. Definitely not dupes. The second comparison, now to me, now this is another example of very, very similar colours in the same. That's so strange that it looks different again to the eye and on the camera. But when you get very, very similar colours that are in the same range. So this one here is for Audrey. This needs a good shake. Obviously the yellowy greeny pigment has separated. And this is that classic Tiffany blue. And this one here, which I picked up in the in one of the sets from TK Maxx, Aquadelic. These two look very similar to me. Let me just shake this Audrey up a little bit. Yeah, this one may be a little bit darker, but let's have a look. Are they different enough to justify having both? That's the key question when you're thinking about dupes and comparisons. So that one was for Audrey, and this is Aquadelic. Struggle to get the lid off then. These two to me look very, very similar, but the formula on Aquadelic was slightly easier to work with. To me, these two look very similar. I think Aquadelic is a shade darker, and there's a little bit more of a muted, greyed out quality for Audrey. But they're very, very, very close, very similar. I personally don't think you need both, but that's entirely up to you. So that's China Glaze. Got another couple of China Glaze here actually. Brighter green, but very, very different formula. So this one here is Keeping It Teal, and this one is Turned Up Turquoise. Now, Turned Up Turquoise has got a shimmer in there, like a blue flash, just quite subtle. And from what I can remember, this is more of a kind of satin finish, whereas Keeping It Teal is a very, very, very sheer. It's just very sheer. So you either need to put this, I would say, over white. I mean, we can have a look. They're going to look very, very different on the swatch wheel. You're not going to be able to see this through the pale. Yeah. It does build up. I have worn this before. It was one of the polishes that I bought and then was disgusted that it was so sheer. Oh, well, what am I going to do with this? What's going on? What is this? But it does build up. It builds up in about 4 coats, which we probably won't have time for today. This is Turned Up Turquoise, which is the same colour in the bottle, but a much creamier, opaque consistency. You're still probably going to need maybe 2-3 coats on that one. around. Let's just very quickly see. Sometimes these sheer polishes dry quite quickly, so let's see if we can see the difference in the second coat. Yeah, you'll need a few coats of this or over another colour. I would say go for this one if you're interested in the colour. They're very, very, very similar, but turned up turquoise is definitely the better formula. Again, it depends on what you want it for. You might want to maybe do some jelly sandwiches with the clear. It's not a jelly polish though, it's just very, very, very sheer. Yeah, okay, so that's the three. Greens again. So I thought these two were quite comparable, and it was interesting that they both came out in last year's summer collection. So yeah, they both had the same idea. So this is China Glaze, Grass is Lime Greener, and I think they both came out. In last year's summer collections. I know this one did, definitely. Vibrant Vibes, Essie. So this is an Essie versus a China Glaze, and obviously here anyway, Essie are much more expensive than China Glaze. Well, not much more, just a couple of pound more. Usually about $7.99 full retail price. Maybe China Glaze $5.99 at Sally's. But, you know, you can find them at different prices online, but full retail price, Essie is going to be more expensive than China Glaze here in the UK. And you get very slightly more with China Glaze. They look similar to me. To the eye, the China Glaze is looking a little bit more of a bright, more neon. This one here is more of pastel neon. But let's have a look. So this is Grass is Lime Greener, and they're just enough of a of a neon formula and colour that you are going to need a glossy, you're going to need a glossy top coat if you want a glossy finish, because they'll dry like semi-matte satin. Come on. See if I can brush that off. Oh, it's so annoying. It's inevitable though when you've got cats and a dog. So yeah, again on the swatch wheel, the China Glaze is coming out brighter. But is this, lime, pastel, neon? I'll come back and do a second coat actually over those two. You can do it over a white, or you can get them opaque on their own. See, that's the typical neon kind of formula, streaky. Yeah, not the easiest to work with, neons. So comparable, but I would say this one is more of a spring green, the Vibrant Vibes, and the China Glaze is definitely more of a neon pastel. And the last ones to show you, and I think I've mentioned this before, this is OPI Cajun Shrimp, which to me looks very, very, very similar to Barry M. It's a matte finish, and Copacabana. So I'll just show you them both side by side so you can see the Barry M while it's still wet, just for a colour comparison. And I just think if you've been lusting after this pinky bright red Cajun Shrimp and you can't get hold of it, or you don't want to pay the OPI price tag, you can pick up Barry M for £3-4 on the high street. And to me this is very, very similar. So it's that bright, bright, bright red with a dash of pinky coral. So that's them again side by side in the bottle. And this is them side by side on the wheel. I think OPI Cajun shrimp is a very, 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 very slightly of a darker pink to it, and Barry M is the more fiery orangey red, so slightly more pink in this one, slightly more orange in this one, but very, very, very similar on the nail. You know, who am I to say that you don't need both? But oh look, turned up turquoise dries this nice matte finish. But if you know, you may be an aficionado with reds, and be reds aren't my favourite. So if I have two that are very similar, it's yeah. And which one would I prefer? I don't know, probably just if I had to make a choice, I'd say probably the Barry M. So yeah, let's go back and just very quickly over these greens here. So Vibrant Vibes, and Grass is Lime Greener. So the China Glaze does seem to dry down a lot more matte than the Essie. On a second coat, they seem a little bit more similar. Yeah, the China Glaze is definitely brighter. So that's Grass is Lime Greener, and that's Vibrant Vibes. That's the OPI and Stranger Tides and Bossy Boots, Butter London. That's the two. Yeah, they just look very similar to me. For Audrey and Aquadelic, China Glaze. Again, China Glaze, Keeping It Teal and Turned Up Turquoise. This one I like. I would definitely, if I had to make a choice between the two, this one. And Cajun Shrimp and OPI, Barry M's Copacabana. Very similar orangey coral reds. So that's my first comparison. I'm just compelled to put another coat of this. Keeping It Teal. No, doesn't seem to make that much of a difference. No. I still prefer Turned Up Turquoise. So yeah, that's 5 comparisons. I would say the most dupish in them are these two and these two, but they're still not complete duplicates of each other. Very, very similar. Up to you whether or not you feel that you would need both in your collection. Okay, hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know if you'd like to see more dupes and comparisons, and I will try to identify them in my collection. Have a wonderful birthday, Jen, and I will speak to you soon. And thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.